Beat Cop is for all the people who loved the old cop dramas. You play as a former detective who was framed for a crime he did not commit. Now you have to prove yourself innocent, or run away to Mexico. Yeah. I mean, you can do that too. Anyway, you juggle factions and write tickets for 21 days before facing the music. So the gameplay is not too complex. You walk through a crowded street of people and look for cars that need to be ticketed. Once you find a perp, you slap a ticket on it. This aspect of the game reminds me a bit of Papers, Please. The player has to methodically check vehicles to make certain that whatever offense you're writing up for is valid. However, the ticketing system is a bit dry, as you only need one offense to ticket a car, with no losses for ignoring the others. This means that parking violations, the most obvious of violations, becomes a go-to, while you'll likely ignore any other violations if you don't have to focus on it. Speaking of having to focus on things, each day does come with a set of objectives. Perhaps it's write 10 tickets or tow 3 cars. This system forces you to focus on more time-intensive violations if you don't want to be docked cash at the end of the day. Really, the writing of tickets is just the pretext to the bigger game. The real meat of the game occurs in events. Most are chasing down a perp, whilst others involve various gangs throughout the city. With 100 things being thrown at the player at once, a major portion of the game is choosing what to respond to, in other words, time management. Beat Cop does succeed in loading the player with too many tasks at once, which is exactly what is intended. However, it seems that those moments come far too infrequently throughout the gameplay. So, with the basic gameplay down, how is it? Well, it's okay. I certainly did not find myself bored by it. The methodical card checking made for a good standard gameplay experience, with events spicing it up. The goals were always, I will admit, too low, as I managed to get as many as 25 tickets on a day that you only needed 12. By having tickets be so common and thereby also having money be so common, it takes any urgency out of the ticket writing. You're never working towards paying the next bill because you'll likely have the money for that bill before it ever shows up. Where this game has real problems is the narrative aspects. There are a lot of words throughout the game, and only a very small amount of them are anything other than quick quips. In this realm, Beat Cop really lost out. There was an opportunity to create a strong narrative that was more than just a trite caricature of the 80s cop drama. Instead, the opportunities were abandoned in the name of sexual puns and inconsequential banter. While a narrative is built throughout the game, it is always a surface-level narrative. A cop with alimony to pay, you being accused of stealing diamonds, but there's more, etc., etc. The story is predictable and reproducible. The last point to make is the aesthetics. I cannot fault this game on its attempt to bring the city to life. The streets are certainly as lively as they could have been, with numerous people walking by at any time and something always happening somewhere. There is the issue of set aesthetics being somewhat garbled. For the most part, it's not a big deal, but it can be hard to pull objects out of the crowd and all the chaos. In saying that, perhaps that was the point, as a city street is usually crowded and hard to parse. In the end, I would have to put Beat Cop as a game that had potential to be quite good, but gave up every chance it had. The core gameplay was set, if a bit repetitive, but that could have been glossed over with a strong narrative. In saying this, the game is not terrible. If you want to re-experience, or just experience, the days of the lone cop on the street, this is what you'll be looking for. However, outside of that, I couldn't really recommend the game. Thanks for watching, and, as always, enjoy the rest of your day.